you.
You can try fighting the law all you want, but the law is always going to win. From politicians and celebrities to sports figures and business leaders, they're fighting the law. Now, here to sort out the nation's top legal news stories is America's favorite legal analyst, Royal Oakes. This is the Royal Oakes Show.
Robbing people with a 6-gun. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
Thank you, Mark Horn, and welcome to the Royal Oakes Show, and welcome to our co-host, Ken Jeffries. How you doing, Ken?
Hi, I'm out of the witness protection program now, and life is good.
I'm so glad. I saw your comment on Facebook about that.
What did I say?
I didn't know the word ag was spelled with 7 A's, 7 G's, and 8.
I was reacting to
H's.
I was reacting to the a post on regarding the show itself.
Yes,
it was kind of funny
that's right.
because I didn't understand your joke about being in witness protection.
Ag has 21 letters, and I did not realize that until I saw your post. I was very impressed.
Yeah, well,
and our millennial correspondent, Connor Oakes, is with us. Sort of. Connor, you are in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Is that correct?
Yes, I am. The land of elk antlers, ski resorts, and big trucks. Really big trucks.
Well, that's great. How's the trip?
It was lovely.
It was lovely, but you're still on the trip. What do you mean it was lovely? Was there an official end?
The trip out here was lovely, and the camping so far is survivable.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that.
So are you camping right now in Jackson Hole?
Mm-hmm.
And he's taking time out of the vacation to take part in this show with us. Ken, is that terrific?
You know something, and I didn't do that when I was on vacation a few weeks ago. So, Connor, you're more of a man than I am, and my hat is off to you.
Kudos to you.
I could not miss this show.
So, Connor, you don't know this, but Ken and I, on August 19, it'll be the 1-year anniversary of us doing this show together. So congratulations, Ken, for surviving an entire year hanging out with me.
A year of this?
1 year of this, yeah.
A year of carving out my Saturdays at 3 o'clock
would I make that up?
To this show?
So here's the deal. I think we're going to have an anniversary show. Mike Gary, would you mind spending 15, 18 hours a day between now and the 19th, putting together clips, the highlights? Would that be okay?
Well, I've already been doing that in my personal time.
I love it. I love it. Now, you may recall,
the greatest hits.
You may recall, Ken Jeffries, that Johnny Carson, when he would have his anniversary shows, they would have clips from the greatest moments, and I think we need an Ed Ames Tomahawk moment. Yeah. So, Mike, it's going to be challenging for you to find something like that, but something dramatic is what we want. You may not have.
We still have time.
Say what, Con?
I said we still have time. I'll bring a tomahawk back out from the Wild West here, and
what a great
we'll
idea! Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, Mike, next show, we can set up a target. Somebody can throw the tomahawk. Hopefully it will land somewhere close to the area of the testicles. That way people can chuckle over it for
by
decades.
The way, I know a couple of moils, and we could do frontier bris.
That's right. Frontier bris. That was quite a quick remark by Johnny Carson. I think exactly 2.5% of the people listening know what we're talking about.
Can I say one more thing? As long as we're talking about brises, which is circumcision, for those of you who don't understand.
Circumstantial evidence?
Circumstantial evidence. Paul Ryan, and I think it fits into the show, Paul Ryan, Speaker of the House, found out through the show hosted by Henry Louis Gates, I think it is, that he is actually part Jewish. And Paul Ryan is actually part Jewish.
I saw that. Yeah, so, one of these Ancestry.com.
Yeah, it's Ancestry. Right, it's one of those Ancestry shows. So Stephen Colbert on CBS invited Paul Ryan to come on CBS.
I love it.
And I think to undergo, if I have this right, undergo a bris on the air.
Oh, that's
and so Colbert looks into the camera and says, "Here in New York, there are plenty of moils, and we can do the job." So
that is terrific.
Congratulations to Paul Ryan. We appreciate. Mazel tov.
Paul Ryan also said that his favorite band was Rage Against the Machine. To which the lead singer of Rage Against the Machine responded, "You are the machine that we are raging against. You don't get to like our music."
Yeah, I can see some awkward moments resulting from that.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to our top stories as usual in the B block of the show. In a few minutes, we're going to talk about Donald Trump attacking John McCain. Really brilliant when he might need his vote on the whole Kavanaugh thing. We're going to talk about the racist New York Times reporter. I don't think there's too much debate that she is, in fact, a racist. We're going to talk about...
It's a weird story.
Yeah, it's
strange.
A very weird. And, of course, the Manafort trial is well underway. But in our first block, we love to get to our features. We've got Moron of the Week and Guess the Verdict. Now, guys, last week we're off to a good start on a sort of a variation of our Moron of the Week. We were celebrating headline editors that allowed some really idiotic headlines to sneak through. So I wanted to run a few more by you, and we'll have a top 10 here and see just how stupid you think these are. First headline: Utah paperboy headbutted, tackled, and trapped in tree by goat named Voldemort. Now, I need to ask you, Connor, Voldemort is a Harry Potter reference?
He's the villain from Harry Potter. He's he who shall not be named. Yeah,
so that would be just embarrassing if you were run up a tree by a goat named Voldemort.
Well, you know what? At least it means that others have recognized this goat is made of pure evil, and that it's not an ordinary nice goat, and therefore it's more excusable to be rushed up a tree.
I agree. Headline number 9, newest residents are from elsewhere. That's from the Portland Statesman Journal. Now we know why papers are going broke. Connor, would you pay to buy a paper to read that kind of headline?
Oh, yeah, well, I got to read. Once you read that headline, you're so hooked. You've got to finish. Because he could literally be from anywhere, right? We've got to narrow it down.
That's true.
The only way to do that is flip that paperboy a nickel.
I didn't think of it that way. Number 8, county to pay $250,000 to advertise lack of funds. That sounds sensible. That would be a way to overcome a crisis. Number 7, miracle cure kills 5th patient. You might want to wait for the FDA to weigh in on that one. Number 6, woman, this is real headlines, guys. Woman in sumo wrestler outfit sues ex-girlfriend in gay pub after she waved at man dressed as a Snickers bar. Now, I would buy that newspaper just to get the details.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You can't blame her for assaulting under those circumstances. Number 5.
You know what I hope? I hope this was the middle of July and nowhere near Halloween. That's what I want.
That's right. Number 5, close look at dating finds men choose attractive women. Sounds sexist to me. I don't think this is a very modern headline.
Disgusting.
Number 4, Sunderland firefighters rescued duck from lake. Don't understand that one.
DOC or DOCK?
I think it's just a doctor. So we're going to have to skip that one. Okay. Number 3. Oh, this was something I saw flashed on CNN. A poll CNN flashed on the screen. The question was, should Scotland be independent? No, 52%. Yes, 58%. You do the math. Yeah, I think CNN, they're challenged. Well, just listen to Donald
Trump.
Went to the
Trump School of Math, yeah.
That's right. Number 2, caskets found as workers demolish mausoleum. Who saw that coming? Yeah.
And why would they demolish? Well, it's another story.
I don't know.
Demolish a mausoleum.
And finally, number 1 headline. It's not an ad, but an announcement in a paper. 5,000 golf balls will be dropped from a helicopter for a chance to win great prizes. All proceeds going directly to the brain injury program. You remember WKRP in Cincinnati?
As God is my witness, I thought golf balls could fly.
Yeah, turkeys and golf balls could fly. So those are our moronic headlines of the week. So now we're going to turn to our fabulous feature of guessing the verdict. Guys, are you ready to guess how these 3 fascinating lawsuits turned out?
Born ready.
Okay, first one. 2 female bodybuilders at a rock concert in Costa Mesa emerged from the ladies' room, but they were blocked by 4 cops who question whether they're really women. Very progressive down in Costa Mesa. The woman says, hey, everything's cool. We're women. We're bodybuilders. People have made this kind of mistake before because of our muscles. One officer says, you're in Costa Mesa now. You look like transsexuals to me. Are you in the middle of a sex change operation? He then demands that the ladies prove their gender. The women who hail from Texas sue for harassment and emotional distress. So, guys, who do you think might have won this lawsuit? The ladies who sued or the Costa Mesa Police Department?
That one seems like a slam dunk for the ladies.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good guess, Connor. Ken, what's your guess on this?
I think so, too, and I'm surprised it happened in Costa Mesa, which is close to the more liberal sanctuary city of Los Angeles.
You're both right. They win $50,000. Case number 2, Richland County, Ohio inmate Paul Goist had some time on his hands, so he filed a lawsuit against General Foods Corporation seeking $20,000 over his addiction to caffeine. He testified, I've been using the company's instant coffee for some time. On trying to discontinue use of said product, I had painful withdrawal symptoms. He also sought an order requiring a warning label. So how did this lawsuit by the inmate against General Foods turn out? Ken, what's your guess?
Well, pardon me, I have a cup of coffee in front of me here. Let me take a sip.
But you're not an inmate.
No, I guess the inmate. I was going to agree with Connor, but so Connor has to say something first.
Well, that's why I asked you to go first.
How
now,
much
Connor,
I paid attention to this.
So your guess, Ken, is who wins? The inmate wins, or the prison? Or that is
the inmate,
General Foods.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of the above.
Yeah.
The inmate, I guess.
What about you, Con? Who wins, General Foods or the inmate?
To be contradictory, I'm going to go with General Foods. I think everybody knows that coffee will give you headaches and other withdrawal symptoms if you go cold turkey, and the judge is going to say, wean yourself off it, jerk, and kick him out of court.
The judge dismissed the lawsuit. He ordered the prisoner to wake up and smell the coffee. So at least he had a good sense of humor.
Well, I think that's grounds for another lawsuit, isn't it?
Ooh, I like that.
Okay.
All right, third and final lawsuit, guys. A Los Angeles man tells his cellular phone company, hey, mail all the bills to the office. Don't give copies to anybody but me. When his wife calls the phone company and asks for the bills, they promptly send her copies. As a result, she sees he's been talking with his mistress, and so she divorces the creep. The man sues the phone company for negligence. So, Connor, who wins the lawsuit, the philandering husband or the phone company for ignoring his instructions?
That's a tough one because him being a philanderer means a jury is much more likely to side against him, even though it seems like he would be in the right. He had a clear directive and told them exactly what to do with his personal information, and then he got screwed in maybe more ways than one. I think because he's the bad guy, he's going to lose.
Okay, what about you, Ken? What's your guess?
Yeah, phone company's going to win that.
Okay, you guys are right. The lawsuit is dismissed. The court wrote the company was not to blame. Instead, the plaintiff's philandering and indiscriminate use of his cell phone caused the marriage to go up in smoke. So you guys did pretty well on these oddball suits.
Knocked it out of the park.
Now, you tell me, guys, if I'm missing something, or is Donald Trump doing something really stupid? He needs John McCain. If John McCain can drag himself out of his sickbed in Arizona and get to Washington, apparently you have to be present to win in the United States Senate to vote. He needs his vote on the Kavanaugh nomination for the Supreme Court. So what does Donald Trump do the other day at this rally in Pennsylvania? He's touting the Obamacare reform that he has promoted, and he's saying, well, we've made some inroads, and he said, but for one senator, we would have totally gotten rid of Obamacare, and he starts making fun of John McCain about his 2 a.m. thumbs down gesture on the floor of the United States Senate months ago when McCain killed Trump's attempt to do this. Now, do you think, and he made fun of him by making him look kind of loopy and exhausted, you know, like he's got brain cancer or something. So you tell me, guys, do you think Donald Trump realizes, has he done the math, does he realize he has absolutely no margin for error on this Kavanaugh vote, and that pissing off John McCain even further perhaps is a bad idea? What do you think?
I think he's totally clueless. I don't think he's done the math ever once in his life. I think he's just spouting off because he's an emotional, reactionary nut who can't control himself, who has no force of will at all.
Connor, you sound like some kind of Democrat.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with him. That's absolutely right. He doesn't seem to understand. Well, maybe not. He doesn't care because it's all about him.
So this New York Times reporter, this lady by the name, anybody have her name? Jiang? Okay. She writes her tweets, are white people genetically predisposed to burn faster in the sun, thus logically being only fit to live underground like groveling goblins? And she says, oh man, it's kind of sick how much joy I get out of being cruel to old white men. I'm a cliff. An old white man are lemmings. Now, does anybody have a problem with her joining the New York Times as a tech reporter? The excuse being, well, you know, she took a lot of crap because of her race, and so this is her way of striking back. Connor, as a progressive, are you okay with this?
So there's a couple of issues going on here.
Connor, I wish we had time to let you talk about the two issues, but Mike Gary tells me we have to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to get Connor's two issues about the racist reporter. Stay with us.
CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
You're experiencing pain, back pain, shoulder, elbow, or hand pain, pain from a sports injury. If so, schedule a visit with Dr. Michael Sheps, the leading expert in laser therapy for pain management. Call 310-873-4422 or go to drsheps.com. Experience Epic T, the breakthrough laser therapy system that Dr. Sheps developed to make you pain-free in less time. Laser therapy is a non-invasive, safe, and effective in-office procedure that penetrates deep into your skin without damaging the tissue. It perfectly targets areas of pain to promote fast, natural healing. Relax your muscles, ease muscle spasms, joint stiffness, and arthritis pain while increasing blood circulation. For over 25 years, Dr. Sheps has helped Olympic athletes and sports enthusiasts alike get back in the game. Schedule your visit with Dr. Sheps at his Brentwood office in California. Call 310-873-4422 or visit drsheps.com. That's DRSHEPS.com. 310-873-4422.
Do you want to fly somewhere, anywhere in the world? Smart travelers call myflightsearch.com for the best deals on flight tickets. Going to Manila, Bangkok, London, how about Singapore? Call myflightsearch.com for the lowest flight tickets available. What about a local vacation? Let's say you want to fly to Vegas, Orlando, Miami, Los Angeles, or Denver. Pick up the phone and call myflightsearch.com right now. We have exclusive deals that you can't find anywhere else. The only way you can get these low airline prices is by calling us. We have so many low prices available, we can't possibly tell them to you right here and now. If you're flying somewhere anytime in the next 6 months and you want the lowest airline ticket prices anywhere, you owe it to yourself to save a ton of money. So pick up your cell phone and call myflightsearch.com right now.
Call 800-445-3166. 800-445-3166. That's 800-445-3166. Call now. 800-445-3166.
Have you purchased a wine refrigerator or put a wine cellar in your home? Maybe you have a new wine rack. Great news, but what wines will you buy to stock your wine rack? Let me, Michael Horn, help. I'll find the wines for your wine cellar with your taste in mind. We'll determine what varietals, Cabernet, Pinot, Chardonnay, what types of wine, California, French, Italian, you like. We'll find you one-of-a-kind wines from all of our friends we interview daily on the What's Cooking show and the What's Cooking on Wine show. On a budget, we'll find you the best affordable wines. Want hard-to-get library wines? We can source those for you, too. And if you need cigars, let L.A. Rams sports legend and iconic actor Fred Dreyer make your selections. Hey, we can even host a wine dinner for you or set up a sports cigar party with Fred. Call me, Michael Horn, at the What's Cooking Today show. Call 818-818-6400. That's 818-818-6400. Let us find the dream wines of your lifetime.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries.
Hey, it's Saturday.
It's Saturday, and our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes. So, Connor, can you hear us thousands of miles away in Jackson Hole?
I sure can.
Okay. Excellent. So you've had a few minutes to think about whether this Sarah Jeong, J-E-O-N-G, should be fired after 13 hours on the job as a tech reporter for the New York Times. I don't know, Connor, the tweets, they seem unpleasant to me. I'm not sure that I would have hired her. Before you respond, Connor, I have to tell you one or two more. She says, hashtag cancel white people. I open my mouth to politely greet a Republican, but nothing but an unending cascade of vomit flows from my face. I can see why she's New York Times material. White people have stopped breeding. You'll all go extinct soon. This was my plan all along. I don't know.
She wasn't retweeting Connor, somebody else. That was her own thoughts?
Yes, these are her own thoughts. Connor, if you were king of the world and running the New York Times, would you have hired this young lady?
You know, I probably wouldn't have. But let's think about a couple of things before we pass judgment on the whole situation.
Okay.
Step one, a lot of these tweets are directly responses. They're subtweets, right? They're response tweets to people who sent her openly racist public messages about her being female or her being Asian. And so she would, a couple of years ago, engage in this counter-trolling when they would say something racist and sexist against her. She would turn around and sort of throw it back in your face. How do you like it about whatever race they were, which is generally white men who were saying racist things to her on Twitter. Shocker. So that was the endeavor. The endeavor was to make a name for herself, not just as a reporter, but as a sort of comedian persona on Twitter by lighting these guys up who had publicly been racist towards her. So
Of course, Roseanne was a comedian, and she had a racist tweet too, and she got fired for it.
But the difference was she started it. This woman. Now that Connor brings it up, I think you're right, Connor. I'm agreeing with you. But it was. I think I read where this woman with the Times said that she was responding to racist tweets by trying to be sarcastic.
So if somebody stole Sarah Jeong's wallet, do you think it would be okay for her to react by saying, "Well, doggone it, I'm going to steal somebody else's wallet"?
Well, that's sort of the difference. Is what she's doing is not a crime that harms somebody in the immediate in the same way she was harmed. What she's doing is showing, look, what I'm doing is being over the top, virulently, obviously prejudiced against you, and doesn't that feel ridiculous and silly? Isn't it silly that you would be racist against me in this way? And the other half of this, the other side of this coin, is that the way that these tweets came to light after she was hired at the New York Times were the result of a targeted campaign of harassment where a bunch of people who dislike her politically dug through her background and dug up these old tweets which had been existent for years and had been totally understood by her very liberal Twitter audience as, hey, look, this woman is fighting back against white men who are racist against her with these sarcastic, over-the-top responses. That was her way of showing, look, prejudice is real. People really are still racist out there every day. To me, I have to put up with this harassment online. And everybody endorsed it. And then now, all of a sudden, out of the blue, because of her new job, and because a group of people online said, look, she's got this history, we can light her up, we can put her back in the headlines and make her look terrible by taking these tweets out of context. Okay, yeah, are they good tweets? No. Would I hire her as a result of them? Probably not. But at the same time, I can understand what she was trying to do, what she was trying to attempting to engage in, and whether it was the right way to do it, I don't know.
Can I just say one thing? As she's a tech reporter, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Then she probably should have understood. I don't know when she did this, maybe a couple of years ago. Who knows now? Well, Major League ball players who are 24 now are being called on the carpet for tweets when they sat out when they were 17.
Right.
So maybe this happened as well, but maybe it was hard for her to realize years ago that any response to a tweet, a negative response, would come back to bite her when she got a job at a high-profile facility like the New York Times.
Yeah,
it's hard for me to be sympathetic. If somebody does something and that doesn't realize the consequences of it, tough noogies, right? You've got to think about these sort of things, and if you don't, that's a mark on your character. But regardless, given that it existed, we have to decide how bad it really was.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to dig through, and for one thing, she, of all people, as you suggest, as a tech reporter should know, it's pretty easy for people who are your enemies to dig through and get your old tweets. But I think it would be interesting to find out, if we dug through it, to determine whether or not everything she said, all of these really hateful, racist tweets, were in fact in specific response to people who had said horrible things to her. And then, I think the New York Times they'd have some really hard decisions to make in terms of whether to keep her on. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about the Paul Manafort trial. We're going to talk about whether Donald Trump has stepped in it by his tweet suggesting that Mueller should be fired. Stay with us.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
Located in the heart of Maui's premier resort, Kaanapali Beach Hotel is officially recognized as Hawaii's most Hawaiian hotel and the #1 best value in Hawaii. With a range of accommodations and affordable dining options, this is the ideal setting to turn Hawaiian dreams into lifelong memories. Live Hawaiian entertainment every evening, free year-round children's programs, weekly arts and crafts fairs, welcome breakfast, and departure kukui lei ceremonies add to the value. Swim in the whale-shaped pool, indulge in the fabulous spa and hotel salon. Enjoy Hawaiian hospitality at its best at the Kaanapali Beach Hotel. Call 800-262-8450 or go to kbhmaui.com. That's kbhmaui.com. Aloha.
Kaanapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
The following ad contains shocking material. Listener discretion is advised. Is someone in your family playing a dangerous game of Russian roulette? Over 43,000 people die a year from drug overdose. 120 people a day. 5 people every hour. 1 person every 12 minutes. 88,000 people die every year from alcohol abuse. Over 240 people a day. 10 an hour. 1 person every 6 minutes. Somebody you know may be next. Learn how to help someone you love get away from the drugs, alcohol, and bad influences. With the FMLA, people can take a leave of absence from their job and still keep it. Call Quit Drugs 321 now at 800-378-3315, 800-378-3315, 800-378-3315. That's 800-378-3315.
Do you want to fly somewhere, anywhere in the world? Smart travelers call myflightsearch.com for the best deals on flight tickets. Going to Manila, Bangkok, London, how about Singapore? Call myflightsearch.com for the lowest flight tickets available. What about a local vacation? Let's say you want to fly to Vegas, Orlando, Miami, Los Angeles, or Denver. Pick up the phone and call myflightsearch.com right now. We have exclusive deals that you can't find anywhere else. The only way you can get these low airline prices is by calling us. We have so many low prices available, we can't possibly tell them to you right here and now. If you're flying somewhere anytime in the next 6 months and you want the lowest airline ticket prices anywhere, you owe it to yourself to save a ton of money. So pick up your cell phone and call myflightsearch.com right now.
Call 800-445-3166. 800-445-3166. That's 800-445-3166. Call now. 800-445-3166.
You order a glass of your favorite Cabernet, fresh asparagus, hollandaise on the side, a filet, medium rare. You unfurl your napkin with a flair, close your eyes, and prepare to listen. Ah, there it is. The sweet music you long to hear. The sizzle. The sizzle of a Ruth's Chris steak.
The most magnificent corn-fed prime beef, broiled to perfection at 1,800 degrees. Some call it a sizzle. We call it an anthem.
As the waiter approaches, you think, is this one mine or that one?
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Like Ruth always said, life's too short to eat anywhere else.
Make a reservation online at ruthschris.com or by calling 800-544-0808.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries and our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. So Paul Manafort on trial this week, the very first trial in the Robert Mueller era. Of course, it doesn't have anything to do with Trump, really, nothing having to do with collusion or Russia, but it does have to do with Manafort making tens of millions of dollars as a political consultant for this Ukrainian strongman. And then the money dried up, and Manafort's wild lifestyle with his ostrich shoes and his alligator pants and
isn't that Jenny with the red dress? Isn't that an old rock and roll song? High heel shoes and high heels. Yeah, the high heel shoes and an alligator. That Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels. Jenny with the blue dress on.
$1 million.
I wish we could pull that cut and play it on the air.
I'm sure we can.
Jenny with the blue dress.
Okay, let me ask you this, Connor Oakes. Do you think it's really fair to put Manafort on trial for being a rich guy that spends money on ridiculous things? Aren't they really trying to piss off the jury by introducing the evidence of the ostriches and the alligators and so on, because they're worried that maybe the jury won't get it if they just stick to all the boring tax stuff?
Yeah, probably, but I wouldn't think that that's unfair. I think what they're doing is highlighting the lavish lifestyle that he funded via his crimes. Yep. I think that they're pointing out that he is.
Though we're only getting every other syllable. Actually,
no.
Yeah, can you go ahead and try to finish off your thoughts, see if we can hear you now.
Okay, hopefully you can. I think that what they're doing really is highlighting how bad he is by showing what motivated him, what drove him. Juries need a story. They need to be told why this guy turned bad. And it's convincing to them to hear, oh, this guy's a bad guy because he's obsessed with the money and the power. He loves the ostrich this and the alligator that. That tells an important story for the prosecutors so that they can nail him, like you said, on the boring stuff. It's totally fair because it's all the truth.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it's unfair for them to do that, but I think it actually gives the defense an opening because I think if the defense is smart, what they will do is they'll say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, they're putting this guy on trial for being kind of a jerk, for spending ridiculous amounts of money that, frankly, you and I wouldn't do, but that doesn't make him a felon. And the evidence is that this guy Gates, who was his assistant, actually was responsible for all the financial stuff. Manafort really wasn't involved in that. He's the hardcore political guy. So I don't know if they're going to play that card, but this trial is moving along very quickly.
It makes a lot of sense. I think you're right. I think it might give the defense another opportunity. Do I think it'll work? Do I think it'll be successful? No. I think he's been demonized in the press so much. It's impossible to get an untainted jury. I think that the facts are heavily against him. And I think that the Ukraine-Russia connection is too much to really say that people are going to think this is disconnected in any way. I mean, he was Donald Trump's campaign manager. He picked Mike Pence to be the VP. This is a massively important player in the Trump campaign. There's no way you can really draw a line between them and say, oh, all the bad things that Trump does and says are different than what Manafort does and says, and vice versa. They're going to get muddied up together, and if one goes down, much more likely Trump will go down.
So, can I say something?
Sure, fire away.
I have the lyrics now, thank God to Google, of Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels of Devil with the blue dress on, the ostrich thing and all that. No,
we're going to put that on the website.
Well, it says the second verse is fee fee fi fi fo fo fum. Look at mine today. Here she comes, wearing her wig hat. And you put Manafort wearing his wig hat and shades to match. His instead of her high heel shoes and an alligator hat, wearing pearls and diamond ring. Well, I don't know about that part. Wearing pearls and diamond rings. She got bracelets on her fingers now and everything, but devil, so on, so on, so. But I think the ostrich thing and the alligator shoes and
they don't make
so
songs like that anymore.
No, they don't.
Hey guys, we got some breaking news here. Melania, the First Lady, is weighing in on the whole LeBron James situation. LeBron James goes on CNN this week, has an interview with Don Lemon, kind of blasts Donald Trump. I mean, not like other people are blasting him, but had some pretty negative words. So, do we think it's kind of interesting that Melania comes out and says, oh, LeBron's doing some really good stuff, charitable stuff, on the heels of her actually having the audacity to watch CNN while on Air Force One? I think she has kind of a crush on Wolf Blitzer. That probably is what's going on. But is anybody going to be shocked? Connor, would you be surprised if we have the first White House divorce situation between Melania and Donald?
I would absolutely not be shocked. Poor Melania, all she ever did was be complicit in Trump's insane, fraudulent nonsense in order to be a trophy wife. I mean, who doesn't do that? Who wouldn't do that for a couple $1 million? And then accidentally, oops, I married the wrong morally corrupt multimillionaire and accidentally ended up as the First Lady. She never wanted this. Of course she's going to be lashing out. And this is just her acting out, lashing out at her husband, who she presumably hates, and taking it out into the public square and saying, oh, yeah, sure, LeBron, you're in the right on this one. You're the right, nice guy. And my husband is totally in the wrong for blasting it. This is Trump, who's been stripping children from their parents at the border, criticizing LeBron, who just donated a public school to the children. Look, you can't say that LeBron is the bad guy in this scenario. He's always going to come out ahead in the court of public opinion.
Well, and of course, especially sad thing about Melania's situation is not only is there this huge personal embarrassment in terms of what's going on between herself and the president, but also when she looks around and sees what the result of the Trump administration. I mean, ISIS is stronger than. Oh no, I'm sorry. We beat ISIS. The black and Latino unemployment is through the roof. It's the lowest in history. What am I thinking? Tax reform. We have no tax reform. All right, so I'm confused. So maybe it is just all personal between Melania and Trump.
Could be.
It could be a reality show. I wish somebody would put cameras in the White House like they do on the TV show Bar Rescue. And you know what? And Trump knows what's his face really well. Mark Burnett, the producer from Survivor. So you can get a reality show going with him and Melania. That would great ratings, and Zoli he cares about ratings. Great ratings. It might mess up his personal life, but great ratings.
Now, guys, we
government
talked
sells ads against that. Solves our deficit problem.
There you go. So somebody mentioned Major League Baseball pitchers and so on. So here's the idea that Jason Gay, who's a sports writer, came up with. Major League Baseball is dying. People are not attending the way they used to. Kids aren't playing it. And when kids don't play baseball, they don't watch baseball and go to games when they're adults. So they got to do something. So here's Jason Gay's idea. We got so many blowouts now that they're actually using position players, shortstops, catchers to pitch, which is unheard of. I've been watching baseball my whole life, and it's like once every 5 years you hear about a right fielder brought in the 18th inning. It's been true this year more than any other season in history so far. Position players are pitching. So here's Jason Gay's idea. Let the fans pitch. What you do is you put your name in a drum when you get to the ballpark, and if it's a blowout, because there's never been a comeback of more than 9 runs in the 9th inning in the history of baseball.
Is that true? Nine runs?
Exactly. Never before. So if it's a blowout, the ball players have to keep playing. What you do is you let a fan chosen at random pitch, and he has an idea. You have that L screen that the batting practice pitchers use. You have a rule. You get 6 pitches. There are no walks, and if the batter swings and misses, he's out. If he hits a foul ball, he's out, and everybody would have a chance of dreaming of pitching to Mike Trout. And the game, it's a blowout anyway, and it would generate interest in baseball. What say you guys? Would you go along with this? Would you go to the ballpark and put your name in the big drum?
I mean, yeah, I would, but at the same time, I honestly. Most likely, I think Jason Kay is writing a "Let's Eat the Children" article. Okay, right? This is a modest proposal, Jonathan Swiftian thing. He's saying
I would call it tongue in cheek. You can call it "Eat the Children" if you want.
So freaking boring. We need to fix baseball, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs from the rooftops. This is the only way to do it. To get us to at least come to the table and say, okay, well, let's put a shot clock on some things, and let's speed things up a little bit, and let's tweak the rules so there are fewer strikeouts and more hits or something like that. This, of course, I think is an off-the-wall, ridiculous idea that we would never go with, especially since baseball is the home of purists, right? It's all about the stats and everything.
No more, Connor. Do you realize they don't require 4 actual pitches for an intentional walk any longer?
You're right. It's garbage. They've ruined baseball.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, guys, we haven't beaten up on Donald Trump in 2.5 minutes, so let's get back to it, right? He sent out a tweet this week, and he says, this is a terrible situation. Attorney General Jeff Sessions should stop this rigged witch hunt right now before it continues to stay in our country any further. Bob Mueller is totally conflicted. Now, the Democrats are saying, add this to the pile of evidence of obstruction of justice, because he actually called for Sessions to stop the Mueller investigation. So what do you think, guys? Is this evidence of obstruction by Donald Trump?
No, it's only a suggestion, right? Remember they went through this back and forth about, is it an order? And I think Sarah Sanders kept saying, no, it's a suggestion. Wasn't that the thing? Yeah,
that's what she said.
It's a suggestion, and Jim Acosta shut up. That's a little side note, but
it's ridiculous. I mean, obviously, this is an order. The idea that Trump can fire somebody by tweet, but when he goes out and says, "Oh, who will rid me of this troublesome priest?" and somebody, looks at that and says, of course that's an order. He is clearly telling the Attorney General, or rather Rod Rosenstein, he's telling him what to do. I mean,
well, actually, Connor, he's not telling Rosenstein. He's saying specifically, Attorney General Jeff Sessions should stop this rigged witch hunt right now. So you think that is an order and thus evidence of obstruction of justice?
Is it an order? No, but it doesn't have to be an order to be an obstruction of justice. You could take any number of steps that impede the witch hunt investigation, and those would constitute obstruction of justice, potentially. So, it's depending on his purpose in doing so. So, yeah, I think that this gets added to the pile of evidence. Is it enough alone? No, probably not. But have people been prosecuted for less? Probably. Lots of people are prosecuted for aiding and abetting style or obstruction style crimes all the time and through a very, very strict standard simply because that's the way the prosecutors get them in the courtroom and nail them on a small crime that they can prove as opposed to the larger crime that is more difficult to prove. It's hard to do that when the President of the United States is on trial. When you have to impeach him, that's very, very difficult. But it's possible, and I think that it should be on the pile of evidence.
It's kind of an irony here, because for the president to say that the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, should stop the Mueller investigation, as I recall, Jeffrey Sessions recused himself from the Russia investigation. And when you recuse yourself, you're saying, I have a personal stake. I was affiliated with the Trump campaign. I was part of it. What is happening now is an investigation of whether the campaign colluded and conspired with the Russians to interfere with the election. And so I'm stepping away from it. So as a result, he can't interfere with the Mueller investigation. So for Trump to suggest that he should do it, it can't happen for openers. The second thing, though, is, in order to establish obstruction of justice, you have to have a corrupt motive. That's what you have to prove in order to prove obstruction under the statute. And I don't think that you can prove that Trump has a corrupt motive, because what he's been saying for months now, and it's been accelerating with all the evidence of the Lisa Page and the Peter Strzok tweets, what he's saying is that this is a biased investigation. And it's a legitimate point to make, and he has a right to make that point. And because he's president running the executive branch, specifically the Department of Justice, he has an ability to express an opinion about what goes on in the DOJ. The fact that he tells Sessions to stop the rigged witch hunt right now, it does kind of sound like an order, but obviously it's not an order, because Sessions can't carry it out because he's recused himself. And the fact that he's ignoring the order and Trump isn't doing anything about it, again, I think suggests that probably Trump is he's home free on the collusion angle. I think the bottom line...
That is true.
I think the bottom line is, if no more evidence emerges against Trump in terms of involvement with Russia, the collusion stuff, and any additional evidence, if it doesn't emerge, of him trying to take steps to stop the investigation, I can't imagine that whatever Mueller comes up with is really going to justify going forward with any kind of articles of impeachment. Now, obviously, if the Democrats take over the House, they're going to be in a position to approve the articles of impeachment, and if they take over the House, all it takes is a bare majority of votes in the House to send the matter to the Senate, as we saw in the Bill Clinton situation.
Which wouldn't convict him if the Senate stays Republican.
Right, and even if the Senate doesn't stay Republican, as we know from the Clinton deal, again, two-thirds is required from the Senate to vote for it. So the bottom line is, on the one hand, Trump does have a lot to crow about in terms of the economy. I think we had amazing results this week in terms of additional jobs. When you have low inflation and unemployment, I think, is dipped down to 3.9%. Stock market is going through the roof. It's the old slogan from the Clinton administration. It's the economy, stupid. It's really hard to believe that people are going to want to usher Trump out the door based on what we have so far.
Yeah, we don't know what Mueller. We still don't know what he has.
And that's the big question. But Labor Day is seen as kind of the dividing line. If Mueller comes out with his report or his recommendation, further indictments, he could call the president an unindicted co-conspirator, because very likely he's not going to try to cross that Rubicon and actually indict the president while he's sitting in the White House. If we don't get a report before Labor Day, Mueller is susceptible to the argument that, oh my God, you're interfering with the election. The same argument against James Comey when he came out 11 or 12 days before the election in October 2016 and said, hey, I'm reopening the Hillary deal. I got all these Anthony Weiner laptops. This is really going to be interesting. I'm going to get through it. I think Mueller is going to be kind of reluctant to come out with that. And so there's going to be pressure basically for him to do something in the next month.
Well, Giuliani did come out and say last week it's time for Mueller to put up or shut up. And we'll see what happens with that, I guess.
Well, of course they're both saying that. Trump's been saying that. Giuliani's been saying that. Every single one of his many communications directors has been saying that, because whenever you put pressure on someone, you put a deadline on them, they're forced to come up with something by that deadline, or else you score a point. And there's just no reason why this investigation has to be rushed, completed, finished by a deadline, Labor Day or otherwise. Yes, it could interfere with the election. You know what? It's reality. People should have all the information in front of them in order to be able to make a good judgment on the election day.
So now, when we come back, we're going to decide whether or not we should take an axe not only to Donald Trump's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but Bill Cosby's as well. Stay with us on The Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with The Royal Oak Show.
Were you scammed into signing a timeshare contract? And did you miss the part that said you have to pay for your great idea? Not only for the rest of your life, but when you're not here anymore, you get to pass this turkey onto your family for them to pay for the rest of their lives. Thanks, Dad. Don't burden your family down the road, and don't be stuck with expensive timeshare payments forever. Get out of your bad idea timeshare contract guaranteed, or pay nothing. Call Resort Release today and learn for free how their timeshare exit team can help you legally exit your timeshare contract. They've helped thousands of people, and they're A+ rated with a BBB. So if you feel scammed, get mad and get out of your expensive timeshare contract right now, guaranteed. Call NOW.
800-470-4125. 800-470-4125. 800-470-4125. That's 800-470-4125.
Hi everyone, this is Fred Dreyer. You listen to me every week on the Sports Lounge. Well, I'm here to tell you my good friend and co-host Michael Horn is making his wine knowledge and his incredible industry contacts available to you. Mike will educate you in the world of wines. He will stock your wine cellar, wine refrigerator, or wine rack with one-of-a-kind wines. Also, as a lover of a great glass of port, I will share with you my experiences in finding the cigars that fit your palate. I will help you stock your humidor with great cigars that reflect your growing taste and the very best smokes for your budget. Mike and I can set up a once-in-a-lifetime wine dinner, and I can host a sports cigar party. Call us today at 818-818-6400. That's 818-818-6400. Let us find the dream wines and cigars of your lifetime.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS? Newsflash, the president has changed the tax laws, and now you may be able to pay the IRS less. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, the tax doctor can help you pay the IRS as little as possible allowed by law. There are new tax laws for business owners, the self-employed, even W-2 workers. If you have a back tax problem or a few years of unfilled returns, new help to save you money is now here. Call right now to see how the new tax laws can help you. Plus, right now, we'll waive the consultation fee and give you a free tax savings report. Attention business owners, the self-employed, and W-2 workers. Make this free call to the tax doctor now and learn how to take advantage of the new tax laws that may help you pay the IRS less. 800-985-1610. 800-985-1610. 800-985-1610. That's 800-985-1610.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries and our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes. So we got the Hollywood Walk of Fame guys, and somebody who's really angry at Donald Trump took a pickaxe to Donald Trump's star 2-3 days ago, and I think he's been arrested, and it is a felony, so he could be off to the big house, Pelican Bay, for the rest of his life. I don't know, probably not. But somebody had a great Connor, I don't know if you heard about this. I think Ken may have reported about it on KBC. Somebody hired 2 actors to dress up like Russian guards, and they stood guard on Trump's star the day after it had been attacked by...
I love it.
Is that clever or what?
That's brilliant.
So tell me this, guys. Should we just, let's just get politically correct. Let's go up and down Hollywood Boulevard and and decide who doesn't deserve to have a star anymore and rip them out. Like, for example, Bill Cosby. I mean, I don't think anybody likes Bill Cosby anymore. Maybe his, maybe his mother.
Gone.
His mother's probably gone. Should we just take an axe to Bill Cosby's star? I mean, Connor, if you had an axe and if you were in Hollywood right now, it's hot. It's like 95 degrees. Would you just wail away at Bill Cosby's star?
You know, I don't think I could bring myself to actually swing the axe and go to jail for it, but at the same time...
Connor, have you no principles?
What?
Have you no principles?
Yeah, but I think I would be happy to support a movement that takes the stars, the symbols of adoration and respect that we pile onto celebrities, deserving or not, away from them once we've proven that they really don't deserve them.
Well, what about Michael Jackson? I mean, let's face it, everybody knows the guy was a pedophile. Okay, the jury didn't agree, but the pile of evidence is pretty gigantic. But everybody just, they start tapping their toes when they hear Thriller.
Yeah.
And even though they know he's a pedophile, and it's the same thing with O.J. Simpson. I don't know what the percentage is. Maybe
does he have a star?
60
he does have a star, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I guess he has a star.
I don't know what the percentage is of the population, but if they met O.J. Simpson on the street, whether it's 60% or 40 or 20%, it's got to be something, 20, 25. They would start giggling and ask for a selfie and, tell him what a terrific running back he was, even though they know he's a double murderer. So I don't think we're prepared to burn Michael Jackson's records.
They could have him, since he's good with a knife, take a pickaxe to Donald Trump's star.
Good point.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah, bottom line is, we love our celebrities, I guess. Hey, we talk about moron of the week here a lot, guys, but here I want to honor a genius of the week. A genius of the week. Yeah, he's Matthew Tyler Rosenberg, Frederick, Maryland. He was arrested by cops. They were peering into his car, and they noticed, okay, he's got marijuana, he's got an air pistol. He actually struggles with the cop before he's subdued. Now, here comes the genius part, guys. He works at Krispy Kreme, and he tells the cops, guys, I can get you all the donuts you want if you'll let me go.
Bribery.
He probably threw in some sprinkles, too. Now, was that genius? Shall we elevate this guy and honor him as one of the cleverest offenders of the year?
Look, Smart. You got to work with what you got. And what this guy's got is access to those sweet, sweet Krispy Kremes. And, I mean, I can't fault him for taking a shot.
So finally, guys, I want to talk about Obama. Now he's against socialism. He's got a list of like 15 people he's endorsing for Congress and so on around the country. But this gal, who is the darling of the progressives, who won the primary, who is a Democratic socialist, she's not on the list. Obama is snubbing her. Connor, do you have a theory as to why he might be doing this?
Yeah, because I think that Obama is too heavily entrenched, along with all other major Democratic Party figures, with the party itself. And the Democratic Party has convinced itself that the fringe of more liberal than they are a threat to their integrity as a party, as a cohesive group. They're worried that they will split the vote.
I think you're right. Hey, Connor, thank you for joining us from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And Ken, thank you for joining us. So playing us out now, Mike is going to honor another 1968 song. This is Cream.
I've been waiting so long to be where I'm going.
Have a great week, folks. See you next time on the Royal Oak Show.
Favorite CRN programming is easier than ever. It's right on your TV, through your local cable provider, and on the web at crntalk.com. But when you're on the move, stuck in a plane, train, or in your car, catch up on all the shows you missed. Or listen live to your favorites. Download our CRN app from your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Just search for CRN Digital Talk Radio. Or search for your favorite CRN shows on apps like iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, AHA Radio, uTunes, and Nobex. Now you have access to all of our great shows anywhere in the world and the ability to be part of them by calling our toll-free studio line at 800-33